The following is a Sunny 99.5 WSTX station editorial.
This is Holland Redfield. If there was ever a time in the history of the Virgin Islands when it has been more important that reason and compromise prevail over political one-upsmanship and legislative theatrics by their elected leaders, is now. The recent WAPA rate increase of 22.3%, coupled with the government of the Virgin Islands owing WAPA a staggering $19 million, has created painful, life-changing choices that the people of the Virgin Islands are having to struggle with, and they are screaming out to their legislators for rate relief and answers. The legislative branch of government must realize that a deep sense of helplessness and hopelessness amongst their constituents demands that the first branch of government rise to the occasion and lead, and that their senators put their petty differences aside. During the most recent session of the legislature, the order of the day was name-calling, finger-pointing, and shouting over each other, not dealing with legislation that would have solved the WAPA crisis. This did not instill any confidence in the people that their senators were trying to develop any sort of meaningful consensus. Let there be no mistake on the part of our senators. Your constituents were watching you eyeball to eyeball, and they ain't blinking. The voters of the Virgin Islands did not find this amusing, and as a result of these continued failures to address this issue, they will be in no mood to take any prisoners. They will look at the legislature collectively, and they will not give two hoots if a senator is in the majority or minority. Rest assured that the voters will not allow themselves to be seduced by their elected officials in the upcoming 2008 election cycle with the traditional campaign strategies of holding fish fries and giving away Johnny cakes and chicken legs. This will simply not cut the mustard. We are convinced that if the legislature is unable to tackle this issue meaningfully, we believe that the next election has the potential to be an electoral bloodbath, and there is a real possibility that there will not be any incumbent senators left standing. Our senators must keep in mind that every month that their constituents open their WAPA bills, they are being painfully reminded that their legislature has failed them and has done nothing to relieve them from this onerous and unacceptable rate hike. It is our recommendation that the legislature hold an unprecedented majority-minority caucus, during which their egos are checked at the door, the volume is turned down, and they get down to serious decision-making without the temptation of playing to the media. The objective of this meeting would be to craft comprehensive legislation which the majority and minority can jointly sponsor to deal with this WAPA crisis on both a short-term and long-term basis. While this process is unfolding, the majority and minority leaders of the legislature should be working with the executive branch and sharing with them the initial drafts of any proposed legislation so that when it is completed and it is all intact, that it has tacit approval of the governor of the Virgin Islands, thereby avoiding a potential veto. It is easy to be a senator during good times. What separates a politician from a statesman are that when times are difficult, and we are now at that historic crossroads, it is time for those who have been given the privilege and confidence by the people that they get down to the business and solving problems and governing.
Sunny 99.5 and WSTX welcome your opinions. Please email your comments to our editorial department. Our email address is editorial@viradio.com. Sunny 99.5 and WSTX reserve the right to air your views. Please include your name and other contact information.